Hi everyone, I'm Yuan Yuan. Well, I've always wanted to make a video to show you how to fight the COVID-19. However, because the traditional Chinese acupuncture requires a very high level of acupuncture skill, this is very difficult for beginners to DIY. So I have not been able to do so. However, about 3 months ago, I think, 3 months, I started to learn about Mr. Tung's acupuncture, 董氏奇穴. Well, this type of acupuncture is very popular in China, and the acupoints involved are not point-like but area-like, meaning it is very easy to find where the acupoint is because it is a region instead of an acupoint. So it is no more hard for beginners. I've tried to change the position a little bit too, and it works just as great. So I finally got around to recording this video today to show you how to use acupuncture to treat the COVID-19. But before I start, I'd like to just try to clarify 3 questions that I'm likely to be asked. The first one, well, some of you may wonder, is this even possible? You know, there's no effective medicine even, but acupuncture can really cure it? Well, in fact, TCM is not a treatment that fights virus and bad bacteria, but in the history of China, there has been so many plagues and mass influenza, but we are so well protected by the traditional Chinese medicine. As in the case of the COVID-19, although the government used very strict preventive measure, but without the treatment of Chinese medicine, the epidemic can never be controlled. Because, don't forget, China has such a large population and her medical resources are far less than the United States. It is just a shame that the mainstream media didn't make the news public. So what I'm going to tell you today, it have been proven effective in the last 1 year. But anyway, in a time when medical resources are so limited, people even don't have access to any kind of help. So why don't try to save yourself at home? Some person may ask, I've never practiced acupuncture before. Is it dangerous to practice on myself? Well, when acupuncture is used, the biggest problem is that it may injure sometimes the inner organ. So generally speaking, only licensed people can practice traditional acupuncture. But in this Mr. Tung's acupuncture that I'm going to show you today, all the acupuncture are on the limbs, on the hand. There's no danger to inner organ. So I still remember my teacher once told me that the acupoints below the elbow and below the knee are completely safe. Means even we pierce blood vessels, there will be no problems. So you do not need to worry about that. Also, like I said, Mr. Tung's acupoints are regional points, area points, not points-like points, you know. So even if you've never tried it before, it can be done easily. We have the third question. What if I don't have any needles or I'm really afraid to put needles in myself? Well, if you don't have needles or if you are really afraid of them, you can also use pressure, acupressure. It may take a little bit longer time, but it's also effective. And so I will show you how to do acupuncture and acupressure in a separate video. Okay, now I'm going to show you which point to use to treat yourself if you are diagnosed positive with COVID-19. First, you need to know that acupuncture is different from medicine. If you are not an infection, if you're not infected, you cannot take the special medicine for COVID-19. But acupuncture mobilizes your body's own immune system to fight the virus. So even you are not infected, or even you do not have any related symptoms, this acupoint won't do you harm. They won't do you harm. So if you have a dry cough, just a sore throat or stuffy nose, you do not know if you are infected or not, you can still use the following acupoints. So today we're going to talk about 5 groups of acupoints. Let's go. The first group is 4 points. We have Linggu, Dabai, Chongzi, Chongxian. Well, you may ask, is it important to know the name of the acupoints? Well, if you want to learn more about them, the names are very important. But here, we will just talk about the clinical applications, so I will not explain more about the names. So there are mainly 4 points that increase the body's immunity. Whether it is a cold, flu, or COVID-19, as long as it concerns the respiratory system, meaning the nose, the bronchus, or the lung, these 4 points are very effective. This is the second metacarpal of our hand, right? I will show you a picture just beside me so that you can see it more clearly. So this is the second metacarpal of our hand. And these points are on a line near the radial side of the second metacarpal bones. Linggu, Dabai is located on the back of the hand, just on this line, while Chongzi, Chongxian is located on the inner side of the hand, is here. Linggu, Dabai, Chongzi, Chongxian. So you are right. I think you're thinking the same question that I'm thinking about, because actually there are 4 points actually parallel. They are the same. They have the same function. So you can just choose these 2 or these 2 is all right. You do not need to use all of them at a time. 2 is enough. So let's say what is the position exact. The first point, Linggu, is at the junction of the first and second metacarpal bones. The junction is here. You can touch it with your hand. Actually, you can feel that. If you press it heavily, you will feel a sore sensation, right? You can always use your finger as a massage tool. Use this point, okay? Use this point. Press it, you will find that there is a very sore sensation. And even when you want to do acupuncture, you can also press it before you do the acupuncture, because in this case, you can accelerate the circulation, local circulation, and it will be more effective, right? And this is the first point. And the second point, Dabai, is actually in the middle of the first metacarpal bones. We have the metacarpal bones from here to here, right? Dabai is just in between, in the middle of the second metacarpal bones. And of course, as I've said, all the acupoint that I'm talking about is area point, meaning that just on this line, close to the bone, the second metacarpal bone, you can pick actually whatever you like, 2 points. But in our experience, the first one in the beginning, in the junction of the one and the second, the first and second metacarpal bone, is more effective, and this one is better too. But if you're wrong, you take it wrongly, it doesn't matter. It will help you too, okay? And the third acupoint, Chongzi, is on the palm of the hand. It's here, actually. Based on this line, just along this line, and a little bit to the inside this way. About 2 millimeters is enough. And this is about 3/3 on the way down the line, okay? And the fourth acupuncture, Chongxian, is here, is at the 1/3 point of the line. Chongzi, Chongxian, Chongzi, Chongxian. But it doesn't matter the name, isn't it? So we can just pick 2 points along this line, but a little bit towards the thumb. 2 millimeters is enough. Okay, and for this 4 point, you can put in the needle up to 1 centimeters or 1.5 centimeters. Okay, these are the first group. The second group of needles, we call it 三叉. Well, there is a translation. And the first group, we have 4 points, and it is more difficult to explain. But 三叉 is very easy to understand. It means the 3 forks. Which part of the body resemble our forks? Exactly. It's our hand, right? It's like forks. And so the second group of the acupuncture is just on the hand, and it's in between these 4 fingers. Where they intersect. I'll call it fork number 1, fork number 2, and fork number 3. And among this point, the third one in between the 4th finger and the 5th finger is the most important one. So, if you are really afraid of the pain, just use this point, and the needle can go this way along to the junction of the 4th metacarpal and 5th metacarpal. But if you just only go halfway, it is fine too. It doesn't matter. Okay? To here is alright. Okay, and the other 2 points are the same. That is the second group. Isn't it easy? The third group names 三世穴. I can translate them into the 3 guardian, Well, 世 means guardian, and 三 means 3. We just have learned 三叉, right? And now we have 三世, the 3 guardian. Well, in Chinese medicine, the lung is the most important line of defense in our body. So this group of acupoint is also designed to strengthen the lung's defensive role. And don't forget, the first group is also to strengthen the lung's defensive role, the immune system. Okay? And these points are on the inner side of the arm. On the extension of the index finger. If we draw a line along the index finger, you cannot see the arm, but you can see on the picture just beside me. We can draw a line here, okay, here to here, and all these 3 points actually is on the line. Isn't it easy? We can divide our arm into 4 equal parts, and we can find these 4 points here, here, and here. And we can needle it to 1 to 1.5 cun without any problems. Well, these are the points on the hand, which are also very easy to find. The following 2 groups of the point that we'll talk about are on the legs. And they are specifically for syndromes that are more severe. But as all other acupoints, you can also use them for prevention. They will do no harm. The 4th group, 四花. Although we name it 四花, the 4 flower, 四花, in fact, there are only 3 acupoints. It is just weird, right? This group of acupoint is related to the digestive tract. They are especially useful for patients with diarrhea. And of course, all symptoms of abdomen, whether caused by COVID-19 or not, can also be treated with these points. So the first point, when you push upward with your finger along the tibia, you will find a prominence a few centimeters before the knee. Aligned to this point, our first acupoint is just on the outside, right next to the bone. You can needle up to about 2 centimeters, and there is a chance that we will hit a blood vessel here, but it's okay. So please don't worry, don't be afraid, it's all right. And the second and third point, you just need to find 2 more points on the lateral edge of the tibia. As long as they are in the same line, upward or downward will not be a problem. And when I first used these points, I found that there were some white liquid coming out when I took off the needle, similar to some plasma fluid. Well, this means that your body is getting rid of turbidity. Some other person will find some bright color blood mixed with the plasma liquid. So the color is pretty bright red color. So don't worry about them. You will be good. Okay? The fifth group of acupoint names 三重穴, the 3 heaviness point. Well, this is the last group of acupoint. They are especially for people who is seriously ill. For example, in the Mr. Dong's theory, this can be used to improve people's health condition and life quality if they got cancer, for example. If one person's health situation is not getting better for a long time despite all kind of the medication, he can surely put needles here. And they are all between the tibia and fibula, a little bit closer to the fibula position. So as long as they are on this line, they're effective. But we still need to put 3 points, right? You can refer these 3 points to find a similar position. So the first point is on 1 palm above the outer ankle. 1 palm above the outer ankle. So when we see 1 palm, it's not the widest part of your hand, okay? It's the width of the middle of the finger. It's this part. You can measure 1 palm, use this part. You can put your hand above the outer ankle, 1 palm, okay? You can put it and put a needle here, just on the legs. You can needle here up to 2 centimeters. And the second point is 3 fingers up. And the third point is another 3 fingers up. So the needle is inserted perpendicularly. Well, actually, all the needles that we're talking about should be needled perpendicularly. These are the 5 groups of acupoint that can treat COVID-19. I hope you find them helpful, but if you can really not put needles in your body, that's okay. Yuan will explain in another video how to use your finger to press these points. This is also very useful. And don't forget, well, according to the law in Canada, we are not allowed to put needles in another person. You're not allowed to do so, okay? So, but you can help your family to find the acupoint if they want. So that's it. So I hope that you like this video, and I hope we will all get through this disaster safely, and may we all be safe and healthy.